you, sir, is that I wonder how you come to that conclusion, because the flyover states such as Massachusetts.
Massachusetts
doesn't
is a flyover
matter.
state?
Yeah, it is. I mean, you think it's gone democratic. It's gone democratic through presidential elections.
When I say that the numbers are in our favor, is that according to Gallup, there's a 2-to-1 ratio of conservative to liberal.
But the next presidential election is not going to be one here in Massachusetts or in Mississippi. It's going to be one, I think you would agree with me, Florida, Pennsylvania, Ohio, Michigan, some swing
You're talking about an electoral battle,
yes,
and I'm talking about if they want to take it
right.
to the point of a civil war, and it goes to the streets, we're the guys that have the guns, the people in the military who are not supposed to be political. When push comes to shove, they're going to be on our side. That's what I'm talking about.
On a political perspective, do you still feel as though the numbers are with us?
I mean, they gerrymander in order to manipulate. They use the media in order to manipulate, in order to make it so that it's a 50-50 thing. And every election cycle, it should be a landslide for people who are of center-right of orientation. What's happened over the last 3 election cycles? There's been a big pushback against the progressive movement. Do you think that they're going to be able to reestablish what they had 3 years ago, when it was based upon an utterly false, ephemeral, ethereal premise?
I think there's a factor in here that we haven't really discussed, and that's race. I think that race and voting blocks and demographics is a real factor.
Right.
And that's something that I think that
I think that's a bad narrative, and because the mainstream media somehow allows for the story of that somehow the Democratic Party's been good for the black community. It's been awful. If we made 1 or 2 or 3 movies to show what's happened in the last 40 years to the black community from a perspective that would illuminate what the problem was, or if we had media that would shine a light on the problem of what Democratic and liberal policies have had on the inner city, if our Republican conservative representatives would have the courage to walk into black churches and say, how can we be of help to you?
Right.
So, shame on conservatives, shame on Republicans, and the Tea Party is too young. It's been under attack for the last 2.5 years, but I'm already trying to create alliances and organizations that work with inner city groups, and I dedicated my book to Clarence Thomas, and I think I've gone to black conservative get-togethers to try and give them hope and say I'm here to connect you with whomever. But we have to break out of the mold of being fearful of that bloc, that they are just beholden to the Democratic Party, and we have to go after them and say, come on over here. We're not, we aren't the monsters that the media and the left portrays us to be.